Before we get started, I want to give you a quick heads up. There's a good chance that Scout will make a guest appearance in this video. If you can hear him in the background. Anyway, heidi ho friends, welcome to an overview video of the Dog Bowl Oven. We're going to talk about where it came about, how it's progressed, and got to the point where we are right now. All the dog bowls you can buy from Wally World for dirt cheap. And then we'll talk about the temperature gauge and the pizza stone as we go along. Make sure you use food grade stainless steel. Now Walmart does have a couple of them that are actually made of aluminum. Not good to use at all. Originally, Mr. Kenneth Cram gave me this idea, and he really didn't even know about it. He was using a dog bowl to burn his coals in for his cardboard oven, and I got to thinking, you know what would be cool if you could take another dog bowl, turn it upside down, and make something like a Dutch oven, and that would work out great. Quick heads up, the problem with stainless steel is it dissipates heat really quick, so you got to kind of block it from the wind or it'll cool down. So I got the original idea, took it out, and I bought another dog bowl here to make, I think I made a biscuit in it or something like that, and set it in there. Now, as you know, this needs to be elevated or the bottom of your biscuit or whatever you're going to bake in there will burn. So I went ahead and I got some expanded metal, which I got over here, and made a little riser for inside of the bottom dog bowl. And that's going to keep it, this, I think it's at least, what do you think, about an inch or so from the bottom of the pan, which worked out great, and I was able to bake in it. Now, I was very curious. Oh, fun fact. If you're not using this to raise up the bottom of your cook bowl, this makes a great grill for your campfire. All right. So in doing that, I started getting curious on how the temperature was performing inside there so I can keep it steady so I can cook a little bit more complicated items. Totally by accident, I was walking through Lowe's and I came across, this is a temperature gauge for a smoker, and what I liked about it, it doesn't have a very long probe. Giggity. So I took another dog bowl right here, and a little bit later on I will show you how I drilled this hole, and we popped a hole right to the pawl there because that was the best part of the dog bowl at the time, and we just simply added the temperature gauge like so, and it fits in there perfectly. It's a very tight fit, and it comes apart very fast so the dog bowl can be broken down for transport. So now we have our gauge upside down. Let's fix that real quick. We now have the dog bowl with the gauge in it. We can see how the temperature works, and it was doing great. And I started thinking, well, let's get a little bit more creative. I decided to cut my very first pizza stone. I found this guy at Menards. It came in a whole set. It was roughly about, at the time, it was $19. It came with some cool extra things. All right, so a quick heads up, and this is very important if you're going to cut a pizza stone. First, you want to wear eye protection. Very important. Second, you want a mask, a breathing mask, that is rated for drywall, because this dust goes everywhere and will cover everything. So make sure you do this outside too, or you will get in big trouble. The next thing I did, as we dropped it on the floor, and it's hidden underneath my desk, and I need to go reach down and grab it real quick. I'll be right back. Just talk amongst yourselves. Yep, only happens to me. All right, I'm back. As I used a Dremel tool with a simple cutting wheel that's got dog fur on it like so. Let's throw that out of the way. Once again, if you came to see a professional video, this is definitely not it. Anyway, so I picked up a pack of these cutting wheels right here. The trick to using the cutting wheel is go slow. If you're starting to cut it and you see sparks coming off of it, you're going way too fast. Back it down a little bit. Now, a lot of people will use water. I didn't use water on these because I didn't want to slowly dry it out. So after I did all my cutting, and I went through several of these, then I came back and I used a little disc, and I don't remember what grit sandpaper this was, and just ground down the edges and chamfered the edges so it wouldn't crack and split on me. And just for safety's sake, I went ahead and heated it up real slow to dry it out before I used it, just in case there was moisture in there. As I cough. So the pizza stone fits right on top of the raised expanded metal to keep it off the bottom to cook with. And it works great for a couple projects I used it on. But then I was thinking, you know what? Let's bob this up a little bit, shall we? I go to Walmart, and lo and behold, they have this beast on sale. Now, since I've been back to Walmart, they now have a bigger size that you could cook a small freaking turkey in. Yeah, I know. All right, so we do have a couple problems with this, and we're going to talk about them as we go along. I took the expanded metal riser and put it on the bottom, and then I of course cut a second pizza stove or pizza stone. Yes, the one I got from Menards. You could cut two out of there if you're really careful. And as you can see, this has been used quite a bit, and put it down at the bottom. Now we have a big freaking problem. It's not high enough off the bottom, and it will burn whatever's on there. So we need to raise that up a little bit. I got to thinking, okay, so we have the smaller dog bowl that I was using to cook items in. If we turned it upside down, we'd raise it up. We get more even with the top, and we get an even cooking heat. Which, oh wow, there's some crust still on there. Oh my Lanta. So I did that, and I came up with one slight problem, and I'd like to show that to you real quick. Let's go ahead and pull this pizza stone off. And yes, I cut it the exact same way I cut this one here. We're going to look at the bottom of the dog bowl. Now you notice that discoloration right there? That's a bad thing. That means what has happened is I put this dog bowl upside down underneath there. We actually created a little heat pocket, and we didn't get enough or get an even cook temperature throughout the dog bowl. Okay, so I'm going to put this little guy on here real fast. There'll be a slight pause in the video while I do this. Just talks amongst yourself, please. All right, it's on. So that's not going to work for what else I want to cook, because I want to do a Cornish hen. I want to do a cake in there, but that's not going to work out if we have a heat bubble on the bottom. Look at this. You can actually fit one of the bigger dog bowls in it. Look at that. So much more potential. So we need to solve this problem. And the way I thought to solve it is we're going to drill a couple holes in here. We're going to drill several at the bottom, and we're going to drill several at the top. That way our heat will flow through and up and then cycle. Then that would eliminate the heat bubble we have, as you can see at the bottom. So this is the part where I'm going to show you how I drilled a hole in stainless steel. Let's get all this out of the way. And where am I going to put this? Over here. So here's our dog bowl. And I recommend using goggles for this, because there's going to be stainless steel thrown all over the freaking place. And this is something I really shouldn't be doing in the office. If somebody finds out, I'm going to get in trouble. We're going to start out with a pilot bit, a very small bit. And this, I can't remember what kind this is, but it's very small and it is sharp. So we need to pick the spot where we're going to drill our hole at. And I think I'm going to just keep with the consistency of drilling in the middle of the dog paw. And we're going to punch it in there. Now, stainless steel your bit's going to slide all over the place. So we're going to apply a little bit of pressure to make a divot. Then we're going to power up and start off kind of slow. And as you can see, it's skipping around. Not a good thing. I don't recommend you do this. Okay, so we started our hole. Speed up just a little bit. Apply a little bit more pressure. And we're burning our bit. And we are through with our little divot. Now, I did overheat the bit quite a bit because I was rushing it, but you want to cool that down as soon as possible because it will waste your bit. Now we're going to step up in size, and we're going to drill the second hole. Now be careful, because once this bit bites, it's going to pull the drill down pretty darn freaking quick. And you notice we are using a slow speed to do this. The thicker the metal, the slower the speed. We got our hole. It's not perfect, but is usable. Actually, let's go ahead and clean it up a little bit. Another thing you might want to do is grab a stone, which is underneath my desk somewhere. Put it in your Dremel tool. Remember, wear your eye protection. And just grind them burrs down so you won't cut yourself. Okay, so my plan is to drill the rest of these out. And then we're going to drill holes down at the bottom. And then we're simply going to create our airflow. That way we won't have burning at the bottom of the oven. That won't happen anymore, so we'll get an even heat. And whatever we cook in it next, let's use this one. It's a nightmare. Whatever we cook in it next should not have that problem with the hot spot on the bottom. And I think the next item I'm going to cook is going to definitely be a cake. I want to try that out. And after I cook that, there's going to be a Cornish hen. And then it's just kind of going to escalate from there. And then I'm probably sometime this spring going to buy the larger dog bowl. I mean, this thing is freaking huge. And we're going to try to cook a small turkey in it or bake a ham. I'm not sure. All right, friends, there you go. There's been a look at my dog bowl, how I set it up, and where we are at this point. If you have any questions or comments, or maybe you decided or you've seen that there's a different way or a design change I can do to make this more efficient, please leave them in the comment section. I do appreciate your input. In fact, as I cough, Brad came up with a great name for this thing, and he called it the atomic oven. So I think that's what I'm going to call it from now on, is instead of the dog bowl oven, the new name for it is going to be the atomic oven. Thank you, Brad. All right, friends, like always, the comments are more than welcome. Heads up, it does take me freaking forever to get to them due to my work situation, but I will answer them. And like always, friends, thanks for watching. Ooh, look at that. Almost done, friends. Look at that. Oh my God, that looks good. Let's give it a couple more minutes. Some more of that cheese needs to melt right there. Oh boy, that looks good. Ooh.